All right, it is review time once again. Today I'm reviewing Motionless by This Missing Worker. The group The Missing Worker, I believe, was founded in the year 2016, and I believe they're based out of Buffalo, New York. On lead vocals, we have a gentleman by the name of Dimitri Realmoto, which I hope I didn't screw up. On bass, we have Matthew Kalushik. Again, Matthew, I hope I didn't screw that up either. On drums and percussion, we have Eric Reinhardt. And rounding out the group, we have Ton Reinhardt, who is on guitar and guitar-related noises. If I had to summarize the sound for you, I probably couldn't. There's a pop sensibility and a catchiness that carries throughout most of the album, even in its complex moments. It's a somewhat like, I would say, a Pain of Salvation or a Threshold would be two bands that would come to mind if I had to compare them to something else, which isn't fair because I think this band stands on their own. And it's got enough mid-song genre hopping that's impossible to get bored, and that to me is a telltale sign of great musicianship and great writing. It's never so much that it seems overworked or gratuitous, it's just what you'd expect from top-notch musicians. Another thing about this group is I can tell that they're very, very, very passionate about their art. Alright, I'm going to go into detail about some of the tracks and some of the strong points and maybe some of the lesser strong points that I want to pick out and share with everybody. The album starts off with a song called Theseus, and this track takes us on a journey of constant change, and it's a great way to start the album. It begins with a very sublime guitar tone. It's got some very, very delicate bass lines as well, and it's got some of the most lush chord progressions I've heard in a while. Before the song risks settling into a pattern, it hits you out of nowhere with quite a decent metal breakdown, which dissolves into a noisy outro that contradicts the song's more sedated beginnings. After Theseus, we have a song called Magician. Now this is more fun than I think any prog should have business being. We get a nice, vulnerable, lo-fi intro from Dimitri, and there's what I would have to say is one of the bass player Matt's most groovy spots on the album. It's a tasty, delicious Hammond organ right in the middle that actually sells this song to me. It doesn't stand out immediately. You have to really listen because it's more in the background, but when you hear it, it's like, oh, I like that. It's a nice touch. Following The Magician, we have a song called Thanatos. And this is a kind of prog that I think anybody could enjoy, whether they're really not into the genre or they're just kind of maybe on the edge, not sure maybe what the prog genre is all about. This would be a good introduction to that as well as to the album, I think. It's lovely, very smooth at times bass lines again from Matt, and some very nice vocal harmonies as well that just are, well, I'm going to say pretty, and that's not to be taken literally. They are just very well done and very soothing to the ears. Following Thanatos, we have a song called Indigo. This song is really, really good. I don't even want to tell you anything more about it. You're just going to go listen to it for yourself, and I hope you come to the same conclusion. I don't want to spoil anything about this song, but it is one hell of a ride and is probably my favorite on the album. The one thing that really stood out to me on this track was the payoff between Todd and Matt and how commanding that they vie for your attention. Dance of the Amoeba is a really badass, slightly psychedelic instrumental showcase that really shows the band's strong points. And this is another song where Matt really, really shows his amazing bass lines and his amazing style, I guess we would call it. After Dance of the Amoeba, we have a song called Totem. I'm not going to say anything other than Tool. After Totem, we have a song called Tower. Now, Tower begins quietly, and it's got some very beautiful acoustic guitar, which is a nice change to what we've heard previous. There's some light cymbals at this time too, and it's definitely a nice breather after what was Totem. I would describe it as being dark, haunting, and very melancholy. And this song features vocalist Dimitri at his most expressive, and the verses in this song are very rich and very pretty. Following Tower, we have a song called ID, which is track 8, and it begins with a gorgeous serpentine guitar lick that fades into a bass line. It feels like it's trying to warn us about something possibly in the future, and it really goes into what I feel is a very Rush-like kind of a trademark around the 1:15 mark or so, and it's a great way to end the album too. My overall impression of Motionless is that there are definite moments of imperfection and weakness, but I think that is due mainly to the production. It doesn't feel 100% polished, but honestly, where everything in this world today is overproduced, it's maybe not a bad thing. I always kind of think back to compare it to Nevermind by Nirvana and then In Utero from Nirvana. Nevermind is so polished and crisp and, perfected, where In Utero is really garage sounding, rough mix, and that to me is actually a positive thing, and this definitely reminds me of that. I'm going to give this album as a final grade a 70%. I think it's justified. I think it's one of those albums that definitely grows over your time. It's not something that's going to immediately strike you after the first or second listen, but that to me is a sign of a good, well-crafted album. Check them out at their website as well as their Bandcamp page. We need to support artists like this, and yeah, that's all I have to say. So everybody take care, and Matt, thanks again for contacting me. I enjoyed your album, and I'm looking forward to more in the future from you. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.